Hello. Sorry, I have to do it excitedly. Hello. So, I kind of wanted to talk about kind of a follow-up a little bit to my religion video, but not really. It's just about religion in general. But, you know something that stresses me out? Christians. A certain type of Christians, I suppose. Let's call them MAGA Christians. Not necessarily because they are MAGA, because I see them in every country. But I call them MAGA Christians because they have that same entitlement that MAGA people have. Why do I hate MAGA Christians? It doesn't matter what verdant, but in my experience in Brazil, Catholics and evangelicals. But I digress. I feel like it's those people that say that Christianity is being oppressed, that know nothing about history. And I just wanted to get that out there, because people are acting like Christianity is endangered. It's the biggest religion in the world because of colonization, of historical Christianity and erasure of other religions. And you dare tell me that you are being oppressed because I said that I don't like Christians. European colonizers did a lot worse things to people of other religions, and nobody talks about it. Interesting. And I feel like that comes from the Eurocentrist ideal of Christianity as inherently superior. Even if people don't want to say, they are systemically used to seeing Christianity as the norm. They're inherently used to see Christianity as the most normal default religion even. And I feel like that causes people to not really look at the history and consider, what is going on? The same way that people don't stop to reflect upon heteronormativity and other, societal norms like that. Because also there has been so much erasure of other religions. I can give you Brazilian examples, but I'm kind of bad. I know that, like Jesuitas. I know the word in Portuguese. They literally went to other countries and said, hey, you want help? Become Christian right now. Right now. And have you noticed that there are a lot of marginalized communities that are extremely religious in their own ways? Do you not think that comes from a historical pattern of being forced into Christianity and that being the only part of your identity because the rest was erased? It pisses me off so bad. Like, there's this girl in my school. She's like, first off, she says she's an American patriot and that she wants to be an American politician. She's not American. She is straight up just European. So that is already a good start. But she posted a TikTok these days that was like, I know what it's like to be different. And she holds up a mother flipping Holy Bible. I'm so oppressed. I only have the most sold book in the world, behind only Colleen Hoover. I think. Yeah, she sold more copies than the Bible. Yeah. I only have the most sold book ever until like 3 years ago. No, but I'm so oppressed, you guys. Like, not even Mormons who give free Book of Mormon to everybody who breathes have sold as many copies as the freaking Bible. That's how oppressed you are. Oh, so oppressed. But people celebrate Christmas and not Hanukkah. That's the default holiday. I don't see anybody celebrating freaking Kwanzaa. Paganism, Hinduism, Sikh, freaking Candomblé, Umbanda, like all these other religions. Do you ever hear anything about them, really? Judaism, I think, like you hear the most about the Abrahamic religions, which include Christianity. But even then, when there is a person who is an Abrahamic religion that is not Christianity, you still make that difference of like, oh, that person is Jewish, that person is Muslim. And that stresses me out so bad. Because it's like, if you say that the prejudice was against people with Abrahamic religions, of course, that conflates everything. So I can get behind that. But Christianity, my brother in Christ, no pun intended, what are you on? To look at, like, my city has, like, a gajillion churches. Christian churches, Protestant churches, Catholic churches, you name it, they got it. Look up your closest synagogue. Look up your closest mosque. I doubt that my city has more than a single mosque. And yet, Christianity is disappearing. I remember in 10th grade, I wrote, or my year 11, because I studied at a British school, I studied at a school, I had to reply to an article, right? And I chose one by Tucker Carlson, because it was easy, It's Tucker Carlson. And I remember he wrote an article saying like, oh, this is Good Friday, and Americans aren't celebrating it because Christianity is a bad thing nowadays. You can't say that you're Christian. There's just no more community. Most of the United States is what religion? I'll give you 3 guesses. Yeah, it's Christianity. So it's like, you can't come up to me and say, oh, I'm so oppressed for being Christian. I only have 1,000 people I only have 10,000 people going to my megachurch. What has this world gone to? Like, celebrate your religion in silence, like you tell other people to do. Like, a person approached me in public and said, like, can I pray for you? I'm like, okay. Like, only annoying freaking Christians do this, but okay, whatever. Pray for me. And that's what I can get behind. But the thing is, ask a Christian how they would react if a Muslim person or a follower of Candomblé, which is an Afro-Brazilian religion, came up to them and said, hey, can I pray for you in the name of Allah, or in the name of Ishu, or in the name of any other deity? See if they wouldn't tell you that they're like cursing you for life. That you, oh, this is such disrespect. Let's hope that critical thinking is the next pandemic. Because they have such a victim complex that I just can't get behind. Because obviously it's very easy to, be in the class that is the least oppressed, and you get like imagine this, like the minorities, they're being like beat up and they're being and they're being slaughtered. And then the majority, they get like, I just got injured so badly, because they don't know what it is to be beaten every single day. So that's how I feel that, like, when, like, white people, straight people, like Christian people, all these majorities, all these like structurally like more privileged are so against like progressiveness because they don't want to be oppressed like the people that they have oppressed for years. Why do you think we deported them, the immigrants? And then now we, like, people are saying like, oh, but the people in my restaurant got fired and I have like no labor force. Yeah, you have to be the labor force now, buddy. Sorry, I'm getting way too worked up over this, but I see this girl from my school stories and I'm just like, what goes through your head to support this? And I find it very hard to debate people like that. I'm no Dean Withers myself, because it's like, it feels like such common sense that it feels like something, oh shut up, Snoopy blanket, it feels like something you shouldn't even have to explain, of like, you know, Christians are the majority of the world. You know, Europeans were Christian, they Christianized everybody, you know. Yeah. America's, yeah, mostly Christian. I wonder why. It feels so in your face. And maybe that's the real irony, that these majorities call minorities snowflakes when they're the ones who get pissed off about anything. And the things that the minorities are getting pissed off about is like, hey, we're being murdered every day. So like, hey, Brazil is the country that kills the most trans people, like 16 years in a row. Can we do something to fix that? And they're like, no, you're gonna turn everybody trans. I feel like every time I speak to someone who's in those majorities, I feel like that one image of the dog going like, you know the one. Let's hope that critical thinking is the next goddamn pandemic. And all of this with the rise of like ChatGPT and brain rot and people not, you know, being like critically like literate or like having sense of any critical analysis or any critical thinking because they use ChatGPT for everything. Oh my god, it's all coinciding and we're all getting so much worse again. I had a musical theater teacher once that told me, you know, during a history lesson that like the 20s were free. The Great War had just ended. Everybody was like, damn, it's low-key amazing to be alive. So, you know, economy was booming, everybody was thriving, you know, like people were being really progressive and, you know, like flappers and stuff. And then 30s, boom, Great Depression, war, the Red Scare. So people went back on conservatism. And that's kind of a trend that's going back and forth, that people reply to global crises by reverting. Okay? By reverting back to conservatism because it's the easiest to follow, because it's the easiest to stick to, because it's what everybody's used to, and it's the majority. Like, in the 2010s, we were super progressive. Everybody was starting to accept gay marriage. You know, we were going in the right direction. Boom. COVID hits. And then it all gets bad again. Who was Andrew Tate in the 2010s? No, he only came out of his hole in 2020. But, you know, it sucks, but it's the cycle of forever that is like this. But I don't wanna, like, I feel like people should be smarter to, like, not get tricked into history repeating itself again. for the like bajillionth time. Stop saying that you are oppressed because you are a Christian. There's people who get beat up and killed for their religion every single day. And it's not just because people say that every single kid in America maybe shouldn't be put under the pretense that Christianity is the natural or normal choice. Maybe don't say that you're oppressed just because of that. Because other people have existed for forever. Christianity is not the oldest religion in the world. So what makes it the most important besides historical colonization and forceful conversion and fear-mongering and all those tactics that they use? Christianity is not the oldest religion in the world, but it sure is the goddamn loudest. In a bad way. Okay. That's all I have. Bye. Please don't send people after me.